On an ordinary evening, Max returned to his quiet room and noticed a strange wooden box resting on his table. It wasn't there before. No delivery, no sound, just the sudden presence of something unnatural. The box looked old, dusty, almost ancient, like it had waited for years to be opened. A shiver ran down his spine before he even touched it. Inside, he found a strange black device lying motionless on the wooden table. It was cold, metallic, with no buttons or markings, just a single red light blinking softly. Next to it, a folded note. He opened it with trembling fingers and read the chilling message. Do not scan yourself. No name, no reason, just a warning that instantly tightened his chest. Curious but cautious, Max placed a small potted plant in front of the device. He pressed nothing, yet a red beam silently emerged, scanning the plant from root to leaf. In seconds, the vibrant green wilted. The leaves blackened, curling inward like they were burning from the inside. The plant was dead, lifeless, hollow, as if its soul had been extracted. Max stood next to his girlfriend, the device in his hands. Without a word, he aimed the red scanning beam at her. The beam passed over her face, lingering for a moment too long. She didn't move, her expression unreadable. As the light scanned her, a chill ran through the room, as if the air itself had thickened. Max's heart raced, unsure of what he'd just triggered. Max sat at his desk, his fingers trembling as he typed furiously into the laptop, trying to understand what the device really was. The search results were unsettling, filled with vague warnings and cryptic messages. But then one link caught his eye, a story about a strange device linked to bizarre disappearances. The more he read, the clearer it became. This wasn't just some random tech. This device was linked to something far darker. Max's eyes locked onto the screen. The image was haunting, of a girl who had been torn apart by the device. Her face was mangled, blood dripping from her eyes and mouth, her expression frozen in horror. The device had ravaged her, leaving her a broken shell. Her skin was torn, raw, and bleeding, as if she had been through something unimaginable. Max recoiled, a wave of dread washing over him. The device was not just scanning, it was destroying, and it was hungry for more. Max stood frozen in front of the mirror, his hands trembling. As he gazed into the reflective surface, something was wrong. The mirror, once clear, suddenly faces began to appear, horrified, mangled faces, the victims of the device, staring back at him. Their eyes were wide with terror, their mouths open in silent screams. Max staggered back, heart racing, but the faces remained locked in the mirror, as if they were reaching out to him. Max stumbled into the room, his heart pounding, but what caught his attention was the laptop. It was on, its screen flickering to life, as if something unseen had triggered it, and then a whisper. Soft at first, then clearer, an almost unintelligible voice that seemed to come from the depths of the machine. Max couldn't make out the words. It was calling to him, a chilling invitation to a world he couldn't escape. Max stared at the laptop screen, frozen. It now displayed 3 faces, lifeless, expressionless, like photos taken moments before something terrible happened. They weren't distorted or hollow, just eerily still, drained of all emotion, like their souls had quietly slipped away. He didn't recognize them, but each face carried a silent story of fear and finality. Max felt a chill crawl up his spine. These weren't just images, they were warnings. Warnings he might have seen too late. Max stood silently behind her. She sat on the sofa, still, cold, distant. Her eyes didn't blink. Her breathing was faint. It was like the life had been drained from her, not violently, but slowly, deliberately. The device had done something irreversible. Max whispered her name, hoping for a reaction, but she didn't move. The silence between them screamed louder than words. It wasn't just a scan. It was a theft of something human. Her face was no longer hers, twisted, stretched, like something had pulled at her soul. Her eyes stared blankly, as if disconnected from reality. Max froze, heart pounding. The device hadn't just scanned her. It had changed her. She looked human, but something beneath the surface was deeply wrong. Max gritted his teeth and brought the hammer down hard. The device cracked open with a sharp snap, and light orange flames erupted, flickering like a living pulse. The air around it shimmered with heat. Sparks flew as if it was fighting back. Static screamed from within, echoing off the walls. Each strike made the flames leap higher, almost reaching him. It was clear this thing wasn't just a machine. It was alive, and it was angry. With a final high-pitched whine, the device pulsed red and then exploded. A deafening blast shook the room as shards of metal and sparks flew in every direction. Light orange flames surged outward like a shockwave, swallowing everything in a blinding flash. Max was thrown back, his ears ringing, his vision distorted. It wasn't just a machine breaking apart. It was a final act of release, like a cursed soul detonating into the world. Staggering to his feet, Max turned only to face a massive mirror across the room. But the reflection wasn't his. It was a crowd of pale, lifeless faces staring back. The past victims of the device. Their eyes were hollow, their expressions frozen in agony. And there, at the center, Max saw himself, slowly fading into their ranks. The glass trembled, whispering his name, as if the mirror had already claimed his soul. Max stood frozen before the towering, cracked mirror. His reflection seemed to fade, replaced by flickering faces trapped behind the glass. Etched across the center, in jagged, almost bleeding letters, were the words, "Transferred to next." A cold shiver swept the room, and in that very moment, Max vanished without a trace. From that night on, he was never seen again.